Welcome everyone. Good evening. I hope that you all had a good day. So welcome everyone to Miss Anusha's facilitation today, which is about self-care and selfishness. So Miss Anusha has been an amazing intern who has been with us for 6 months. She has such a sweet soul, and I personally have learned a lot from her about being a good person and a lot of other things when it comes to mental health care. And today she's doing this amazing workshop about how to be a little selfish to take care of ourselves. So I hope all of us will enjoy and learn a lot from her.
Thank you, Medini, for the lovely introduction. So let me share my screen with you. Hello, everyone. I'm Anusha Kumarasiri, a psychology undergraduate at the Open University of Sri Lanka and an intern at J.O.I.N PCC program. I'm going to share what I have learned about self-care, and at the end, I'll share some links on general tips about self-care and boundary setting with you. But please remember, some might work for you, some might not. And be kind and patient with yourself. That is part of self-care too. So get ready to explore the delightful balance between self-care and selfishness, where nurturing yourself meets respecting others, all in fun and enlightening journey. I'm looking forward to an interactive session, so please feel free to share and please remember that everything is welcome. You can always unmute and share, or you can use the chat. And if you have a question, you can always raise your hand. So, moving on to the next slide. So, let's break ice. Uh, Imagine you went on a date yesterday, but your date was no one other than yourself. So, tell us about your date in just one sentence. Who would like to share?
Expensive?
Expensive. Thank you. Thank you, Medini. Anybody else? About my date, if I were to tell you, my date could not stop talking about her dogs. Anybody else?
Exhausting?
Exhausting. Thank you, Shahan, for the share. Okay. Thank you for your lovely shares. So, moving on to the agenda for today, we will be talking about self-care, boundaries, selfishness, and self-care strategies in today's workshop. And as I explained earlier on, I'm looking forward to an interactive session. So let's start off with an activity. Would someone like to share what self-care means for you?
Hi.
Hi.
So for me, self-care would be something like think about what I want for the day or for a week and like do something for about that without like letting myself thinking, oh, it's not worth or anything.
Thank you very much, Nidhi, for the lovely share. Anybody else? For me, personally, self-care would mean curling on a sofa with a lovely novel.
And you have a lot of shares as well, Anusha. Getting a bit of downtime and relaxing, doing things that make you content and feel alive. You want from your shoulder for me, making my mind more peaceful. Wonderful.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for that share. Anybody else? So, in these lovely shares, what did you notice?
It's the time we give for ourselves, some form of priority we give ourselves.
Hmm. Thank you very much, Shehan, for that lovely share.
Yeah, the priority you give for yourself. Well put. Right, so that's what we are looking at. Is that right, Anusha?
So, did you happen to notice that in these lovely shares, that each and every person has a different perspective of self-care? For some, it's downtime. Some, for me, it's reading a book, and then for others, it would mean different things. So, self-care means different thing for everyone, and it is very important that you find what you need and what you enjoy. It may take trial and error to discover what works best for you. While in selfishness, there's a desire to take from others, often to their detriment. Self-care is about replenishing your resources without depleting someone else's. So if you could read through these definitions I've put down for you in the slide, self-care and selfishness, they uh, they mean different things, but then sometimes it really means what it means to you. Like taking care of yourself, you have to find what is best for you, what you really need. So, can you? I'm going to add a little task to this. Imagine at work, a colleague comes asking for help, and you're snowed under, and you're struggling to meet a deadline. How can you react in a way which will fall under self care, and how can you react in a way which will fall under selfish? Would someone like to share?
uh, Totally ignoring the request for help would be being selfish. Um, uh, Self care would be like offering help, but also informing the person that you have to meet a deadline and try to work together to achieve something,
Thank you
a
very
solution.
much. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Any
Just
other
to add
thing?
to that same answer, I feel that selfish is not helping even when you have the ability, the resources, and the time to help, because you feel that they might be a threat to you. Whereas self care is you giving priority to finishing your task first, by telling them, by explaining to them that you need to finish this, and then you will get back once you are able to do so in a comfortable manner. Because by just agreeing, because some people just for the sake of helping, they agree and they put their own tasks at risk. So without putting your own thing at risk, I feel that self-care would be you explain to them, yes, or maybe even if you can help them through your words, even by giving some kind of encouragement, you do help them, but you don't sacrifice your own task at hand. You give priority to your finishing your thing first. That's what I feel.
Thank you very much, Shehan, for your share. Anybody else would like to share? Okay, thank you very much. So let's move on. So, while there are differences between self-care and selfishness, there are certain similarities too. Focus on self and decision making for personal benefits are two of them. But again, some might feel that these are not common and fall into one group. So that is why it is important to find and understand what feels right for you. Any questions or shares at this point? Okay.
Ma'am, small question on the difference between these two. Is
Yes.
it purely based on the intention? I feel that sometimes the actions we take might be the same things, but the intention behind those actions or behind those words might be different in terms of self-care and selfishness. But sometimes the action we take, actual like practical thing we actually do, might be the same thing.
Hmm. Thank you, Shehan.
Can Shehan, I'm sorry, I didn't catch you. Can you repeat what you said, please?
Now, what I'm saying is that in case, like if you actually look at it, sometimes the selfish act and the self-care act both might be the actual same practical thing. Like practically, he might say, I'm sorry, I can't help you at the moment. I will finish this and come back later. Sometimes the practical thing what we are doing might be exactly the same. However, I feel that the intention behind saying that and maybe the emotions you show when saying that might be different from um selfish to self-care. But sometimes, if you really think about it, the practical thing that you do might be exactly the same. So that's just something I was pondering about.
Yeah, absolutely. He brought something into perspective. Um, because the all actions that we, I'm sorry, can you hear me? It's a lot of background.
Sorry, your voice kept breaking.
I'll catch up on that share in a bit. We'll let Anusha take the reins. I'll speak about it later. Go ahead, Anusha.
So, we'll move on to a little learning segment. So, there are many psychological benefits of self-care. I have listed out a few for you, not a few, a quite lengthy list. So, about maintaining balance, in our busy lives, we often prioritize work, family, and other commitments over our own well-being. By engaging in self-care, we create a balance between our personal needs and the external demands, preventing burnout and promoting overall well-being. About building resilience, self-care helps us build resilience to stress and adversity by providing us with necessary tools to cope with and challenges and cope with these challenges in a healthy manner. As we engage in self-care activities, we send a message to ourselves that we are worthy of care and attention, thereby improving our self-esteem and self-worth. Improving mental health. So, a regular self-care practice can help reduce symptoms of anxiety, depression, and stress while promoting mental health, mental clarity, and emotional stability. Um, So improving well-being. So by prioritizing self-care, we can improve our overall well-being by nurturing our physical, emotional, and mental health. Regular self-care activities can help us feel more energized, focused, and content, leading to a better quality of life. Uh, and then reducing stress and burnout. So, self care allows us to manage stress more effectively, as I mentioned before, by providing us with healthy coping mechanisms. Engaging in regular self care activities can help prevent the accumulation of stress and reduce the risk of burnout, so which can have serious consequences for our health as well as relationships. And when we prioritize our own well being, we become better equipped to engage in healthy and meaningful relationships with others. Self care enables us to be more present and empathetic in our interactions, fostering stronger connections with friends, families, and colleagues. Contrary to popular belief, taking time for self-care can actually improve our productivity. By regularly engaging in activities that nurture our well-being, we can recharge our mental and emotional batteries, allowing us to approach tasks with renewed focus and energy. This leads to higher efficiency and better results in both our personal and professional lives. Self-care practices help us to cultivate self-awareness and emotional intelligence, which are essential for effective decision making. By taking care of ourselves, we develop a clearer understanding of our values, priorities, and emotions, enabling us to make informed choices that align with our goals and well-being. Engaging in self-care activities that promote physical health, such as exercises, proper nutrition, and adequate sleep, can lead to numerous benefits, including a stronger immune system, better health, heart health, and increased longevity. Additionally, taking care of our physical health can help prevent or manage chronic health conditions, reducing the risk of serious health complications. And especially for people in healthcare, in caregiving roles, or family caregivers, self-care is particularly crucial in preventing compassion fatigue. It's a state of physical, emotional and mental exhaustion resulting from prolonged exposure to others' suffering. By engaging in regular self-care, caregivers can maintain their own well-being and continue providing quality care and support to those who depend on them. So, I would like to ask anyone, or anyone to like share with us your experience with practicing self-care. How was it for you? And what were the benefits? And what were the barriers? Would someone like to share their experience with self-care? Yes, please.
So my experience is actually a sense of accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, I've noticed I know I'm caring for myself when I can take time to brush my teeth, when I'm not rushing teeth brushing, or when I'm not rushing a shower, or when I've been able to successfully say no to doing something without the guilt. So when those things happen for me, I have a sense of, wow, geez, you accomplished something that's fantastic. And that accomplishment in in turn creates motivation for me to carry out my day and be very present.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Anybody else?
Sometimes, ma'am, especially when you're working in an organization or even in a family, uh, it comes to one point where you realize that for your own good, it's better that you don't participate in other people's drama, especially if they are trying to drag you into it. Keeping yourself away, it actually, in a way, it actually helps us to understand the problem even much more clearer, because then we are not a part of it, but we are an external observer. And at the same time, it doesn't make us emotional when they are done screaming, or when they are done doing whatever they are doing, the form of expression they are doing, then we can, if they want help, we can help them. And we realize at one point that it's for my own betterment that I don't take part in this, office politics included.
Thank you, Shehan. That was a great share. Anybody else? Okay. So shall
Ma'am,
yes.
actually,
Um,
it improves the self-care. It improves my self-confidence and the respect. The ratio.
I'm sorry, you are sort of breaking up.
I'm sorry, I don't know whether what I said earlier was heard properly. Suddenly, the line just broke up.
right, Shehan. So what you shared was, hi, sir. Just a moment, Shehan. Hi, sir. You're breaking up. I wonder if you could type your share in the chat. And Shehan, was your share about being able to stay detached or being an external observer to dramas that could be either at home or at work or any other place is also a form of self-care. Is that right? Did we catch you?
Pretty much, yes. But what I was actually trying to say was, especially when they are trying to pull you into the drama as a
Say no.
participant of it, sometimes consciously choosing not to be a part of it is, even though the others might view it as selfish,
Hmm.
uh, it's actually not being selfish. And sometimes, I mean, sometimes I've personally experienced this, that I've been accused for being not only selfish, but also for being insensitive. And
Hmm.
uh, I mean, I've had so many instances where I had to correct myself and say that's not being insensitive. Just because I didn't join the drama, that doesn't mean I don't understand what's happening, and it doesn't mean that I won't help if it is required. But do I need to be a part of the drama? Is my question.
Right. It's a great
And
question.
I said that this is office politics included, because that is a huge place where daily drama keeps occurring and reoccurring.
Hmm. Thank you, Shehan.
Uh,
And Anusha, you actually have a question in chat. Is cutting off toxic people from life considered self-care?
If we go back to the definition of self-care, what self-care is, it's about taking care of yourself, like uh, preserving your mental and physical health. So without getting other people's, tapping into other people's resources, without depleting other people's resources. So if when you are cutting off toxic people, you're Are you depleting anyone of their resources? Are you hurting another person? And isn't it for your benefit? So going by the definition, what I feel is cutting off toxic people is definitely self-care. What do you think? What do other people think? Any shares? Would someone like to share what their take on cutting off toxic people is?
Madam, what about if you are one of the resources that the toxic people have? You're probably the only bounce back plan they have, or you're the crying shoulder that they have, and they are extremely toxic and they are habitually toxic. But then you decide to withdraw because you don't want to head into burnout.
Yeah.
But then once you realize that you are the only saving grace they have in life, can you withdraw?
Good point there, Shihan. Yes. But then there you that's the point I see that the interconnection, the confusion between self-care and selfishness is.
Actually, this is something that I personally experienced because there are some points out of which I cannot withdraw myself, not because I physically can't withdraw myself or not because it's ethically wrong, but because I feel guilty that if I withdraw, I'm probably the only person who will even bother to listen to them, and they are losing that because I am the resource that they have. So I mean, not at all in a professional context, even in on personal context, this is very visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, what I do want to share with everybody on the group on this great question that Shehan has asked. Interestingly, okay, human beings and the human mind is very resourceful. Very resourceful. Throw yourself into the toughest of situations, you will figure it out. You just need the opportunity to be provided. When your heart is a heart of like, I want help, I don't want to let anybody down, I really want to support them. There's that aspect of savior. Okay. When you hold that on, we create that dependence as well. Unknowingly, this is not a malicious thing. I mean. This is just generally how interactions are moving back and forth with people. Okay. For example, I work with persons who experience suicidal ideation quite frequently. There are times where I would message them and say, hey, I'll be there to support. I need to let you go right now because of this. Right? Believe you me, that opportunity got created for them to depend on their resources that they already have. And then they have learning points. They have points of growth that they didn't see because we were covering those blind spots by standing at the blind spot saying, I'm here to protect you. I'm here to save you. So we step out of the way and they get to get a clearer view and be like, I can do this. It will surprise you. The thing is, you're going to be so afraid of doing that because you don't want any harm befalling them because of your actions, because of you stop talking. But the truth be told is that any action, everything, everyone is autonomous. We are all making choices based on our perceptions. If a choice was made that was based on that person's perception that you're trying to help, that is not on you. It's very important for you to remember that is simply not on you. That is on their choice. Because should we even say, like I talk about self-care in terms of self-care, doing it for you, just for you. But oftentimes I have this theme of, you do better self-care so you can take care of others. Right? If you want to go down that vein, even that second vein, I better take care of myself so I can provide better for others. right? You can think about it in that way. Okay, if I take a step back from this relationship for a little bit, I think I'll be able to come back and support them better. I wonder if I've answered the question, if that makes sense. My vote is for just take care of yourself just because it's you. Just because it's you, Dilani. Just because it's you, Sabiha. Just because it's you, Anusha. Just because it's you, Shehan. Ruvini, Nisansala, Lishani, Medini, myself, Haiza, Yashoda, Sabrina. Just doing it because it's all of you. From that, you'll come into that surrender. When you come into that surrender, everything else just is like, okay, I'm here for you. People will start absorbing the energy that you put out. And that alone will start to help others. But at the end, it's for you. I hope that answers the question. This is a very interesting point you brought up, and I thought it's very important to address over here. Over to you, my beautiful Anusha.
Thank you, ma'am, as always. Lovely explanation. So, about culture and self-care. The idea what constitutes of self-care differs between cultures. In Western cultures, where individualism is prominent, emphasizing personal autonomy and self-reliance, can often focus on activities like solo hobbies, personal development, mental health practices, and then prioritizing time off from work, vacations, and stuff. In Eastern cultures, where collectivism is prominent, emphasis on family, community is collectivism. So, self care might include spending time with family, participating in community events, and maintaining harmonious relationships. And then there are traditional practices in self care, like yoga, meditation, and traditional medicine into self care routines. So, in some cultures, like African culture, Ubuntu, which emphasizes interconnectedness and community support, self-care can involve community activities, storytelling, communal meals, etc. And in indigenous cultures, where connection to nature is like it's advocated. So, spending time in nature, engaging in traditional practices of gatherings, and respecting the land, hunting. So, those are considered as self-care activities. So, in culture, these individualism, collectivism types of cultures, and then traditional gender roles can dictate each person's self-care routine, and it can affect them. Even if we want to do something, okay, culturally, I have this barrier. So that might come into play. So would someone like to share your experiences? Because we have people of different religious beliefs with us today. So would you like to share with us your experience about cultural influences on your self-care practices? Well, if I were to share something I have seen since childhood is like the mother. Even if she, when food is being served, she prioritized her children. And sometimes a mother would say, "No, no, I don't want this. I don't like this." And if a child seems to like a certain food better, so no, no, I don't like it, and she would share her portion as well. So instead of taking care of herself, addressing to her needs, so that's when I was reading about this culture and self care for this workshop. That is one example that came to my mind. Something I have seen. So anybody else? Anybody would like to share? You can always put it in the chat if you don't want to talk. It's okay.
Someone unmuted. I think it's Ruvini.
Yes, Lishani. Yeah.
Uh, uh,
Oh,
sorry,
Ruvini,
Please.
Ruvini.
Rooney, go ahead, please.
Yes, Rishani.
So my question would be like, okay, I'm a mother, so I really enjoy food.
Yeah.
So if I, instead of like giving my portion to kid, if I eat it, am I selfish?
Do you think you're being selfish, Ruvini?
I didn't feel anything like, the kid
Yeah.
has eat, like I need my part. So what's the problem? Like, do I have to give it? Yeah, I'll prepare something else and give them.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, since the explanation was given like that, I just feel like, oh my God, am I selfish or something?
Well, it depends on your perspective of it. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So,
Ruvini, good question.
what I feel, this is my take on this. Other people might have different views. Uh, my take on it is like if you're not being selfish, and now as you explained, you can always make something for the children. You like your food, so in my perspective, you're not being selfish, but yes, if you would like to share, others would share. What is your take on this? Yes, ma'am.
Ruvini, can you unmute for me, please?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
First of all, thank you so much for being super honest and coming up with like, hey, what's going on here? I heard this share, and are you telling me I'm selfish? Oh, I will totally make things for my kids, but I just want my own food.
Of
Just
course,
like my
yeah.
food. I want to fish. Where's the selfishness? Why doubt yourself? Why doubt yourself? You heard something. Anusha shared something. Your food. Enjoy your food. Finish. Was it malicious? I'm going to hundo to enjoy karigina. I'm going to show my kids. Look, I'm eating. Taste. You can't have it. You can't have it. No, it's not that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, all right.
look at your heart. Your heart goes, well, I want to enjoy my food, guys. I'll make something for my kids. So your heart is still on your kids as well. When you choose this path, you
Thanks.
need to be with yourself. You just have that food, you enjoy it. You want to have nom 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 and be like, did this for me? Okay, it's your turn next. I'm there for you, kiddo. Come, what do you want? Finish. That's all that it is, Ruben.
Sure. All right. Thanks for comforting. Yeah.
Oh, hell, I always tell my mom, I tell my mom, Mama, you've got a job in the world that never has a holiday. We will all go on holiday, but it's like, Mom, where's this? Mom, where's that? So when I hear mom say this, so you tugged at my heartstrings. I really don't want mothers to feel like that they're not wrong for wanting to eat their food and not share it with their kid at that moment. It's perfectly fine. It's just there are these borrowed beliefs from the culture we come from, conditioning from all this, have you all seen this like three-wheel pity pasidalati and amma khela loko, it is so great because so, sacrificial kind of person, which is beautiful, but you're planting these messages that are not human. You're a person. Before you became a mother, you're a person with needs and things that you like and you love, or you might be a father on this call, or a sister, or a brother, whatever. You have these needs, you have these desires. Embrace it, own it. This cultural conditioning that comes in is the one that starts causing all this problem where you spend years and years not doing for yourself, feeling bad, like you're not good, you are wrong, right? So, Rohini,
Yeah.
please do that.
I'm here.
Please do face. Okay. And
Oh
then
yeah,
figure
yeah.
out what
Of course.
you can want.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not gonna stop. Don't worry.
Madam, may I speak a few
Sure.
words?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
I feel that there is a little bit of context that needs to be added to that this whole debate.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Probably the times where we see that mothers mostly do this is if the resources are scarce, like if there is enough and more for everyone to eat, or if the children have deliberately chosen to eat something else which we are not eating, then of course this is even not an issue at all. But especially this is seen in very rural settings, very economically disadvantaged settings, where the mothers actually try to give everything possible to the children, make sure that the children sleep with food in their stomach,
Mm-hmm.
and if that is up to them to sleep without any food at all, or just fill it up with water, that has been done mostly in contexts of scarce resources, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not wrong for anyone to enjoy their food, and there is no must that you have to give your portion of food to your kids. But if there is a scarce situation, it is, well, I suppose it is culturally also encouraged mostly. The literature encourages this a lot. They make it a, what do you say? This is like a, what you call, a exaggerated and a very highly celebrated feature of parents, because this is a part of the literature. Which if you study the Sinhalese literature, especially the way they
Mm.
have written the sacrifices of parents, especially in scarce situations. So I suppose it's more of a context of less resources and disadvantaged situations. Of course, this is a very high tendency, but
You
of
know,
course, that doesn't mean mothers and fathers don't have their own favorite foods and they don't eat it whenever they can. But
mm-hmm.
it's just that when especially, or the other context is when your favorite food and your child's favorite food is the same thing, and your child is wanting a little bit more, and the little bit more is only in your portion, then that tendency might change. I suppose a little different context than what we discussed, but um, I don't know. That's just my view on it. Thank you.
Shehan, I love your view. I love the perspective that you brought in. What I want to invite all of you to take into context is this. This conversation is also about us recognizing that we all come from varied experiences. We all come from different cultures, right? And it is not uncommon to me working with persons in scarce situations, actually, right? However, what you want to take in is taking that, oh, I noticed this is a behavior that I wouldn't do. So, not trying to bucket things into right or wrong. You are a selfish human being, you're wrong for that action. Is to take into context and understand yourself and know your intention. Because it doesn't matter what happens, even in a scarce situation, when there's a mom who has to go for work, really, really heavy work, right? They do want to serve their kids. This is a very common thing that I had come across when I was growing up as well. Okay. And from my community where I come from, they need some sort of food, but they can't get it. So what do? They say, இன்னைக்கு நான் கொஞ்சம் சாப்பிடுறேன் புள்ள விட I will eat a little bit more than my child today. Tomorrow from the money that I get, I'll make them a nice meal if I can. So in that context, when you look from outside, with scarce resources, this is someone who couldn't even afford a bath packet, right? What do we do? Who are we to say this person is selfish in the malicious context? Okay. Or is this self-care so that she's using self-care from the perspective of I want to take care of myself in this manner so I can provide better? Does that make sense?
Yes, madam. And
Okay.
also, just if I may add one more thing, I suppose also the knowing that the child is a minor, especially for children who are not adults yet. For mothers who have adult children, this might be slightly different, but when we know that the child is a minor and the child is completely dependent on us for the provision of food, and they are unskilled to prepare food on their own. They have no way of earning something and going and buying it for themselves unless we give them money. So when we are conscious about the fact that this underage child is, the well-being of that child is completely dependent on me, then it feels more obligatory to ensure that the child's well-being is looked after first as a top priority because of their complete dependence on us. So this is
Mm.
especially viewed in the case of small children. I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
have heard. There's this story which this I forget his name. There was a singular language teacher, a
Mm-hmm.
famous tuition master who talks about his mother. They have lived in very poverty-stricken conditions in their childhood. He was the youngest in the family. This is Mr. Upul Shantasan. One of the famous stories he relates in most places is the fact that once he grew up, when he was growing up, his mother used to hide sometimes a piece of maybe a piece of bread or piece of biscuit or whatever that is left over, because all his very hungry brothers and sisters used to gouge everything down, and the mother used to keep a piece left and somehow feed him. And there were lots of days where she herself didn't have anything to eat. And also, there is this story where he says that when he grew up, when he was a youth, one day he was going out somewhere. I think he was going out with his friends or something, and he saw that there was one roti left, and without thinking twice, he just gulped that.
No, you went on mute. Shehan, if you're speaking, do stop because you're back on mute. Okay,
Sorry,
continue.
uh,
No. He gulped the roti without thinking twice.
hello.
Yeah. Hello?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can everybody else hear Shehan? Give us a reactions, maybe a thumbs up or any sort of unmute. Okay, great.
Right. Sorry about that. I think I probably because I got a call and I tried to cut it and then something happened.
Aywa, that's
So,
okay.
this story goes where he has eaten it and he was going out of the house, and his mother was working in the field, and she saw him go out of the house and said, "පුතේ මේ රොටියක් ඇති මටත් පොඩි කෑල්ලක් තියලා කෑල්ලක් කාලා බලන්න." And by that time, he had already gulped the entire thing. And he just walked out of the house without responding to his mom, and he tells how bad he felt that day, and he did not know how to respond to it, because by that time, without even thinking twice, he had already gulped it and he was on his way out without even asking his mother if she had eaten anything.
Right.
So, like that in our culture, we have a lot of these stories, but most of these stories, I feel that is contextually pointing at certain disadvantaged situations, as opposed to people who can afford to have different types of food on the table where preference can be matched.
Yeah. Thank you, Shehan, for that share. And I just want to add on over here, like these are themes that come up with the concept of motherhood or parenthood. Okay. Fortunately or unfortunately, these are the most sensationalized parenting images or ideals that have been put up. Okay, so if there are any parents on this call, just remember that there is no ideal thing about parenthood. Know what works for you and your family and your children, and as long as you all have a healthy, nourishing relationship, that's the most important thing that you can look at. Because what Shehan shared is very moving, very touching, very emotional, but that is the version of mother that Upul Shanta had, right? Everybody else is going to be a different version of a mother to their children, not different version of a father to their kids. So it's about bringing that also into perspective. Before Anusha jumps in, Lashani, you had something. Lashani, you had something you wanted to share. Do you want to unmute and share now?
Thank you, Rushma. Just that when it comes to Asian cultures, uh, from a woman's point of view, a lot is expected from a woman. Um, so, uh, so that's what I wanted to just highlight. So sometimes we have to sacrifice so many things to live up to those expectations. Um,
Absolutely.
uh, so
Yeah,
sometimes give up self-care due to such situations as well. That's what I feel.
yep. It gets obstructed because of the expectations you're expected to fulfill. Am I correct? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's right.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I was
Especially,
real. Yeah, go ahead, Lishani. Miss Ansala will come to you in a bit.
especially you would see it in Asian cultures, I think, mostly. Western, it's a bit different, but we have got accustomed to that Asian habits. So we tend to give up our priorities due to that. That's
Yeah,
what I feel. Yeah.
absolutely. That does happen. Yeah. Um, Anusha, I'm handing it over to you. I think you have another share. Welcome back, Anusha. You have another share from Miss Ansala. Miss Ansala, are you ready to go?
Hi, good evening. Yeah, actually, I have my point of view like about talking about that Ruani's the discussion that she bought. I think like that that if it is mother is being selfish to mean eating that her portion, it's mean that I the same time I see that the kids will learn something from that. It's mean that I see like the positive um positive thing from that, because everybody should learn from others actions also sometimes. So if it is that you are served with a different portion, means equal portions, so then everybody knows this is my portion, so then they will, that as a kid also they will learn something that okay, this is her portion, so she will eat, so that one also. So that's what I wanted to share, that even if it is not for a kid only, it's as a friend, as a parents, or as a friends, we should have to learn from others also what they do, then we can get it some positive idea for what it should be like this. So that's what I wanted to share actually.
Beautiful share. Beautiful share. Very true. Very healthy modeling of behavior.
So thanks. And then
Anusha?
about the self care and then the selfishness, I see, as I see, it's totally related, because if you wanted to self care about yourself, you should have to be selfish. So otherwise, you will not 100%. You cannot 100% self care about yourself also. So that is my point of view on this title actually today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anusha,
Thank you.
there you go. You have some beautifully active participants sharing some very insightful stuff. Go ahead, Anusha.
Thank you very much, Nishani, and thank you very much, Nisa, for those great shares. And your point of view broaden my point of view on this subject as well. So thank you very much for that as well. So moving on to the next slide. It's about boundaries. So, setting boundaries is a crucial aspect of self care because it helps protect your time, energy, and emotional well being. By clearly defining what is acceptable and what is not, you ensure that your needs are respected and that you can focus on activities and relationships that support your health and happiness. Boundaries empower you to say no to things that drain you and yes to things that nourishes you. ultimately fostering a balanced and fulfilling life. So, in our previous conversation, also, uh, we talked about boundaries basically. Like when Nisa shared that you can learn from others. You teach your children that this is her portion. That is sort of a boundary setting. So, now I'm sharing some emotions here for you. Uh, and I would like to request you, any of you, or all of you, to share how you can relate to these emotions when you are going about setting boundaries. How this, the fear uh, interact when you are trying to set a boundary.
Sorry, can you repeat it, Anusha? I didn't get it.
Pardon? I'm sorry.
Sorry, would you kindly repeat? I didn't really understand the task.
Yes, ma'am. So the task is I'm sharing some emotions. So fear, shame, frustration, anger, and pride. So you can choose any of these emotions and share with us how these emotions come into play when you are trying to set a boundary.
Shall we quickly put persons into a breakout room for about 2-3 minutes?
Pardon me, ma'am. Sorry.
Shall we put people in a breakout room just for a couple of minutes to have a discussion?
Yes. Sorry about that. Um, Maybe can you please put them in breakout rooms for me because
It's all open.
mhm.
I'm sure you don't have to join a room, okay?
Pardon?
You don't need to join room one. You can stay
Yes.
out of it. Has everybody received? Beautiful. Okay. Meeting, what I invite you to do is I want you to hop into every room, okay, and see if persons have understood the task. Alright, and then you can just layer on each of the emotions. Fear, shame, guilt, shame, frustration, right? And maybe you can go to room one. And gymnastics happening here. Just so that if you receive your share, your rooms,
Shall I join them?
yeah, I put you in room 2 for room for Nisansala, okay? So you can go participate in Nisansala. I think Yashoda might be having an issue. I'm not really sure. Hey Yashoda, are you with me? Somehow we're not able to connect with you. You're in the main room. Okay. Welcome back, Anusha, Sabiha, Nisansala, Ruvini, Shehan, Yashani.
Okay.
I know we had some breakout room musical chairs happening. Okay.
All right.
Now you'll know how in on Zoom musical chairs work. Okay. So Anusha, over to you. Go ahead.
Yes, so what happened in your rooms? In the room I was in, there were some lovely shares and there were so many new ideas. So what happened in your rooms? Who would like to unmute and share?
I think we were withdrawn from the rooms too fast. We were in the middle of a very interesting discussion.
Ah,
We will have a workshop 2.0 of this two discussions.
so I was in the room too, and something discussed there was that the cultural perspective of boundary setting. How, because we are a connected uh, culture, we have connected culture because we are so interconnected with each other. So it's very difficult to set boundaries. And then when we were discussing, it popped up that in our traditions, in certain traditions, in our religions or in our races, there are certain traditions. In those traditions, these boundaries for some situations are set out for us. So that was a lovely discussion we had in our room. So anybody else? Thank you
You have
so
a,
much.
you have a resounding yes
Yes.
from Sabiha for your determining boundaries.
Well, in the interest of time, I'll move on with the workshop. So, and then we talked about how we set boundaries for ourselves. But how would we know if we are invading others' boundaries? You can watch out for these clues. Leaning
Can we
back.
have you share your screen, please?
Sorry.
That's okay.
So, about invading other people's boundaries. So you can watch out for these clues to identify if you are invading another person's boundaries, because we have to uh, respect other people's boundaries as well. So if someone is leaning back or turning the torso away, pointing feet away, especially towards the door, nervous movements, tension, putting hands behind the back or touching the neck. So with these kind of action, you'll get an idea if I'm invading this person's personal boundary. If you get the sense that your presence is disturbing someone, please give them some space. So how often uh, how often do you feel guilty about taking care of yourself? Self-care guilt shows up in various ways: by apologizing for taking time for yourself, feeling like you're being selfish, or pushing it off because you have more productive things to do. Whatever the reason, there's this nagging voice in the back of your mind that makes you feel guilty about taking care of yourself. Sometimes it may feel even selfish. Unfortunately, self-care guilt is a common problem. Have you felt guilty or selfish for choosing yourself? Would you like to share? Okay, again, in the interest of time, we'll move on. When individuals think of self-care, they often just mention exercises, sleep, and eating well. This limited view can make them feel selfish for taking time for themselves. Real self-care includes anything that helps you feel good and stay healthy, both physically and mentally. Self care isn't about just feeling good or escaping life. It's about taking care of your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well being. And feeling good is a wonderful byproduct. It's not an indulgence but a necessity, and it can be a simple activity like taking a walk, reading a book, or just calling a friend. Remember, the simplest self care practices are often the most powerful. There's a common belief that prioritizing something means taking away from something. That's that there's a cost. Although it's true for many things, it's not really the case when it comes to self-care. Self-care can often feel like another task on a never-ending to-do list, but it's essential to prioritize it above everything else, work, family, and everything. It's not about doing activities, it's about embracing a mindset that prioritizes your well-being, which ultimately helps you better care for yourself and others. Neglecting self-care can lead to burnout and actually hinder your ability to support those around you, making it a necessary, not selfish priority. Sometimes people feel obliged to say yes, especially if being asked to use a skill or talent that they are good at, and especially when people lay it on thick. So, are you ready to say no?
Madam, a small comment. I don't know whether this will divert the way things are going in the conversation, but at least if you could give a short answer, it would be great for all of us. One question that I've been wanted to ask in this forum was, now if a mother or father, I mean this can happen both ways, even though very rarely we see this happening for the male, but most often for the female. If they are in uh, a very abusive marriage because of their children, without making the decision of a divorce, thinking only of the children, and can this also be taken as a error in our self-care methods? Because I mean that mother would do a lot beneficial for that mother if they did not be in that marriage. And let's just assume that this is a man who only abuses the wife in front of the children, but is not abusive to the children, a very loving father to the children, but a very abusive husband to the wife. So if she is remaining in the marriage just for the sake of, within inverted commas, for the children, or maybe what we said, the cultural thought of having to be in a marriage, or cultural thought of wanting to wait at least until the daughters are given in marriage, something like that. Is this also actually an error in self-care? Can we consider this also an error in self-care? But this is not, because all this while we were talking about sharing resources from food to sleep time and all of that, but now I'm just trying to push this to a very different perspective, because I feel that this is also a part of the self-care which we very often see in this society, especially because of this collectivist nature, and we think that what will other people think, what will society think, how will society view my children when I leave my husband and go, and all of that, in that sense. So is that also an error in self-care? I hope I didn't open a can of worms, but I just want to ask you on this, because I feel that this is also in a very far-fetched manner. Technically, this is also self-care. Thank you.
Ma'am, can I ask you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Shehan, what we'll do is I'll answer the question. At the end, we'll let Anusha get through to the end, and after that, I'll take that share. And those who want to stay on for the share can stay on. Those who wish to leave can leave. How does that sound to you? Is that okay?
Sure. Super.
Okay. Great.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
thank
Go
you,
ahead.
Shahan, for the question answer. So, I have highlighted here simple steps to guilt-free self-care. Assess what you need. That is, take stock of where you are in different areas of self-care, like physical, mental, and emotional well-being, to understand what needs attention. Remember, these needs can change day to day, and then identify what works and what doesn't. Figure out what activities genuinely make you feel good and cared for. Your self care should align with what you enjoy, whether it's exercise, hobbies, or a simply daily routine like a meaningful conversation with loved ones. And then create simple routines, establishing morning and evening routines that energize and relaxes you, adapting them based on your daily schedule and energy levels, and include activities that covers all aspects of self-care, physical, mental, and spiritual, and then build a support system. Surround yourself with people who support your self-care efforts and tools like calendars or apps to stay organized, and people who always encourage you, and choose supporters who are honest yet nurturing, and integrate your support system into your daily habits. These steps emphasize that self-care is about living well day to day, finding joy in activities that nurture you, and ensure you have the support to maintain these habits effectively. As we conclude this talk, remember that prioritizing your well being isn't selfish, it's essential. By assessing your needs, identifying what truly regenerates you, and creating simple, flexible routines, you are investing in your physical, mental, and emotional health. Build a supportive environment that encourages these practices, and embrace self care as a way of life, not just a checklist. Together, let's commit to nurturing ourselves so we can better care for others and lead fulfilling lives. Thank you for joining today. And another thing, now today, as I shared with you what I have learned about self care, those who know me know that I struggle with the concept of self care. But today, doing this talk on self care for me is a form of self care in itself. So, thank you for taking your time to come and listen to this. And thank you very much for your active engagement, because I learned a lot from you. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend. Good night.
Thank you so much for
Thank you,
making us a part of that
Anusha.
experience.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Oh,
Anusha.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining.
okie dokie. So we can stop screen share. And those of you who want to stay on for my answer to Shahan's question, you can stay. Those of you who wish to leave and jump into your weekend, free, free bird. Fire. So Anusha, shall we just stop the screen? So Shahan, for your question, there is no right and wrong answer to it. Saying there's an error in self-care is a little bit tricky. The reason being that now I worked with a particular lady who had given birth to 5 children. She'd given birth to 5 children. Her husband was so abusive to her, okay, with evidence. And she said, okay, I'm leaving the kids. I'm leaving him. I'm done. I can't do this. And she left. She said, you know what? I realized I love my kids a lot. I also love myself. So I left. At the same time, in this story, she had a strategy. She had a strategy of how to get custody of the kids. Okay, she's well qualified, she makes her own living, she's doing really well, very stable, level headed person. But because of the abuse she was going through, what was depicted was her erratic behavior, which her husband videoed and showed. Quotes, this person isn't stable. Like, look at this, what's happening. So that's one story. The other story is I've worked with women. I'm talking on the side of women, okay? But I want all of you to know that I've worked with males just the same. The woman who said, Bushma, I want to leave. There is a want. But I recognize my need is, my home is with my children. So I feel safe, I feel cared for, and I feel complete when I'm with my kids. And I know that they're well. All this drama that my husband's doing that's been abusive for years, now I have the skills to put that in the background, and I'm able to continue on without it interrupting my day-to-day. So in that point, Shehan, self-care is which is why it's a very subjective thing. There's no rule like, okay, this person is abusive to you, get out of it. Take your kids and go. Right? Because it's not the case for everybody, because everybody's value system is different. So how we come in as practitioners is helping them to align their lifestyle with their value system, because that's going to bring them the least amount of stress and be able to have functionality in their day-to-day. And also create an environment or a foundation where contentment can come to, start laying down and settling in on that foundation. Does that make sense? Have I answered your question, Shehan?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I agree. Because of the change in the value system, different people will view the response in a different manner. So I suppose if someone wants to get out of the relationship and if that is a value system that they hold, they will not find like a continuous stress for the rest of their lives through that decision.
Absolutely. And the thing is also, Shehan, even if you try to convince someone of you're in an abusive relationship, get out. What are you doing? We can force them out of it, but if their heart is still in the relationship, after months they're still going to be back in that relationship. They will find their way back. Okay, they will find their way.
If their value system is intertwined with the fact that the father also has to be there, irrespective of who he is or what he does, I suppose they will find their way back.
They will find their way back either into that same relationship, or they might find their way into another alternative abusive relationship just to have a male figure being there. So this is a case for when I was working with girls from who were impregnated at 12 years, 14 years, 15 years, 16 years, okay, actually as young as 11 years at a home. These are stories that I have seen. These are stories that I have heard. Okay, and you're seeing one-to-one and you're talking to these children, and I think, oh my goodness, what do we do? Right? And at the end, as someone who is trying to help, what is help really if I am imposing my values on them? I'm just adding another layer of stress for them to deal with. Ayyo, may miss me කියනවා ප්‍රමෝට් කරන්න බෑ. I don't know what to do. අරයත් එක්කම අපි යන්න බෑ. මේ ළමයිම කියනවා they have locked me down over here. I don't know what to do. It's an added stress. So the thing that is left for us to do, is just to hold space for them so that they can express themselves unfiltered, honestly about where they're at with their self-care and what's working. Slowly they'll start to work through things that are not working. And they'll start to appreciate the position that they have and where they are, and make more informed, autonomous decisions, which they will be able to stick with. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Because
Thank you.
they're looking for sustainability, right? They're looking for situations in which the person can create a sustainable, safe lifestyle for themselves.
To think about it, ma'am, it's more like sustainability is also, in a way, a personal thing. I mean, not everyone would sustain on the same principles and the same environments.
Exactly. Exactly. So now you figure how subjective it is and where we have to create that space of listening, right? Then we really understand what the person, we won't 100% understand, maybe 95% because we're not in the person's shoes, but we'll be there. We'll be there to stand next. Does that make sense?
Sure. And then, of course, the biggest error in our culture is that the sustainability has to be only the family sustaining as one unit, irrespective of whatever.
Yes,
I suppose
that
that's the biggest
tends to
error that we
be a
have
very
as a
strong
society.
thing. Hmm. That seems to be a very, very strong theme, doesn't it? And what will help us is to remember that all of these ideas, all of these beliefs stem from the perception that the person was just trying to do the best that they could with the resources that they have. How this belief then came to exist. Whoever came up with this and said, no, you have to have a father in the family, you have to do this, thought that this is the best thing. So I want to pass this belief. But then through evolution, through being autonomous, you realize this is not really the best thing for me. Okay, so we need to just take that also, like cultures are doing the best that they can with the understanding and resources that they had, which is why it became a culture, and the evolution of that tends to become challenging. You can work with it, then good. If you cannot work with it, that's also good, but acknowledge that you can't work with it and then keep moving forward.
That's true.
Sounds okay?
I suppose so. I think there are others also. Sorry, I've been taking a lot of time and space. Others also can please join.
So Nisansala, Rovini, and Sabrina, Medini, do you all have any questions or shares that you want to put on over?
So, one thing, let's say I have a disagreement with the with some topic with my husband and my kids sitting on the same couch.
Mm-hmm.
And if I have this disagreement, if I talk with in the same point, my voice might get high, and we might like my kids might feel like okay, we are having a real argument. So, so I have this perspective of like children should understand like marriage life is not a fantasy or anything. Like it's not like perfect, smooth something that family is having must have discussions and like that's my one perspective. I mean I, I don't know, like my parents didn't argue in front of us or discuss things in front of us. So I was like in my teens I was thinking like my partner should not have a different opinion than me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I was thinking like when I became a parent I was thinking like okay, so I should not give that same perspective to my kids, so because it's not reality and it's like you get some time to adjust that feeling, you know. My partner should not have the same thought or not same plan, I'm not aligned with him. Those things can happen. Like I just want to know like when like what sort of discussions like we should avoid, and like I just want to know like how to handle like those arguments in the family when it
Mm.
happens, like how to like balance it. Yeah, I don't know whether you understand my question. Like yeah.
So I'll tell you what I understood. What I understood is you and your partner, your husband, are having disagreements. Your child is around, and you want to know how you should manage such an argument in front of your child, or are you asking me how do you manage such arguments in general without the voice being raised? or getting to
I want to get the like perspective whether it's okay to have arguments or show the disagreements which we have as parents, or we should not do that. Okay, I'm just asking for
right,
opinion, like, yeah.
right. Okay, Rohini. So it's like this. Um, Having arguments in front of your child is fine, as long as you also ensure in front of your child you show what it looks like to make up, what it looks like to, okay, I disagreed with you, that's okay, and then we make up.
Mm-mm.
Okay. If your argument ends with blah, 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 and then you're going one in this way, the other one in that way, then the child is like, oh my god, what's happening? This is very panicky. Parents are fighting and fights are not good, and now they're looking away from each other. They're very having heated voice, heated this thing. That's where it becomes a challenge, number one. Then the kinds of things that y'all are arguing about, the kinds of language that you're using in your argument, what is the nature of your argument? Is it about your marriage? Is it necessarily really something that a child needs to hear at that point? So that is a totally separate topic and workshop altogether, Ravini. Okay. So I don't want to give you generic things because there are different situations in which this can help. It's not that you should never argue in front of your kids. There's no such thing like that. But also take stock of how old this child is.
Mm-hmm.
Safety has been created. If you're talking about a 1.5, 2.5 year old, don't assume that they don't understand these things. Kids' empathy starts to develop at around 2. Okay. That is why you'll find young child come in, and when a mom or a dad is now dad is angry or the mom is crying or the mom is angry and the dad is crying, they're going to say, it's okay, don't cry. Tarahat, you're hungry. I give you a hug. And then that parent is like, dude, the hug is not going to work right now. Fine, just hug me. Okay. So you
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to
yeah.
take into stock what developmental age your child is at. If it is about sex life, is it about money, is it about, because when you talk, the reason I use the word sex life also is about showing affection. Okay, it's not just about having a penetrative sex or anything. It's about affection from that point. It's about how you paint the other picture person around. One of the best things that you can do, which I do, is let your kids see this and learn to show apology in front of the child, because oftentimes with parents there can be the ego or the pride that takes over in certain situations because you don't want to be wrong. Okay. But then having the humility and grace to say, you know what, you're actually right, I was in pride in this, I just didn't want to be wrong. Seeing that is the modeling behavior that can help a child. Because
Yeah, got your point. Yeah, yeah.
but there will be Ruini, thank you for your question, because there have been few parents asking me a few things about parenting, and I've been so much about, should I do this workshop, should I not do this workshop, should I not do. Now you actually coming up with this question, Shehan talking about parents, all of you talking about this mother. I'm like, okay, this is something that I will look at doing in the near future.
Yeah,
So
please. Yeah.
yeah, so I'll definitely look at that, and keep you all informed. If you're on the group, you can, I don't know if you're on the group or not, for these talks. Maybe Medini, I'm having an issue copying and pasting the link in the Zoom chat. Could we copy the group link and put it on the Zoom chat if that's okay? Thank you for the question, Ruvini. Nisansala, Sabrina, any more questions?
No, today it's fine. Yes. We'll join again. If you're just
Thank,
about to just, yeah.
thank you very much. So
Nice,
thank
nice.
you for being such a wonderful group, and thank you for Anusha creating this space for this beautiful group. Really, really appreciate it, and you did such a fantastic job. And I think in the Zoom chat, Medini, oh, I thought she did drop the link. I'm not seeing the link.
Then thank you for giving the opportunity. Thank you for
It was a pleasure. And let's see, Medini is the link on the chat. Yep. So the link that she's dropped is the chat, is a group in which we post about all the upcoming talks. So that link is free for anybody to join in. At the end of this talk, what's also going to happen is we're going to put down the recordings of this talk. So if you want to revisit it, look at the slides, all of that, you'll have it on that chat. So you can go ahead, join in and share. You can just join. There's no obligation, okay? If you want only the self-care talk, great. Join, take what you need. You're free to leave the group. No problem. Okay, no strings attached on this. And you can share the link with anybody who you think would benefit from these conversations. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you and good night, everyone.
Good night.
Have a great weekend, guys. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Hey, good night. Bye.
Good night.
Thank you.
You're welcome.